The big question is how Trump would achieve the promised peace.
This is World War I, but that another war would come.
The official policy of the United States government that there are only two genders, male and female.
Have you heard the news? In 2025, amidst the chaos of the ongoing Russia-Ukraine war, relentless wildfires, and a collapsing global economy, Donald Trump, in his second term as president, has just signed a controversial gender order that has ignited fierce debate across America. Could this unprecedented move, combined with global turmoil, be the fulfillment of the 3 days of darkness revealed in the third secret of Fatima? The Blessed Virgin Mary warned of moral collapse and catastrophic punishments if humanity refused to turn back to God. Are we now witnessing the fulfillment of this chilling prophecy? The revelations unfolding today are more shocking than you can imagine, and they demand your attention. You will be shocked to know why. The third prophecy of Fatima has always been shrouded in mystery and is closely related to the Catholic Church. The time has come to reveal the secret that Our Lady has kept hidden. For many years, those responsible for keeping this secret said it was not the right time to tell the world. In 2000, Pope John Paul II chose to open the sealed envelope instead of revealing the full secret. These revelations are said to relate to themes such as hell, the 2 world wars, the hardships endured by prophets, and a new wave of communism that would likely sweep the world. However, the question remains, were the visions of Our Lady of Fatima truly accurate? If you believe in God and Jesus Christ and want to see more videos like this, don't forget to click the subscribe button right below this video. Our Lady of Fatima is the Virgin Mary, who appeared to 3 shepherd children in Fatima, Portugal. In this apparition, Our Lady asked the children to pray the Rosary daily to help end World War I. Our Lady appeared every month for half a year to Lucia, Jacinta, and Francisco. In 1930, Bishop Liria of Fatima recognized these visions as authentic, and that same year, the Catholic Church confirmed the authenticity of the apparitions. Today, Fatima is one of the most visited pilgrimage sites, attracting about 6 million visitors each year. Many people come to Fatima every year, especially on May 13th, the anniversary of the first apparition, and on October 13th, to receive special blessings and pray for healing and other needs. Back in 1917, for 6 consecutive months, Our Lady appeared to the 3 children, with Lucia dos Santos playing a key role in revealing the secrets entrusted to her by the Virgin Mary at the request of the local bishop. Comment below if you know about the third prophecy of Fatima and your thoughts on it. As news of the Fatima apparitions spread, many people asked for a clear sign. During the last apparition in October 1917, the Virgin Mary performed the famous Miracle of the Sun, where the sun appeared to dance in the sky. This event was reported by many newspapers and witnessed by tens of thousands of people. However, it is not only the supernatural phenomenon that attracts public attention, but also the secrets that Lucia claimed to have received from the Virgin Mary during her visits. Sadly, Friar Francisco and Jacinta Marto passed away early due to the Spanish flu pandemic, while Lucia dos Santos lived to be 97 years old, became a Carmelite nun, and passed away peacefully. In 2005, 23 years after the apparitions, the Bishop of Fatima asked Lucia to write down the secrets that Our Lady had entrusted to her. She quickly wrote down the first 2 secrets, but hesitated to reveal the third secret. Only after being told by the bishop, Lucia wrote down the third secret and sealed it in a Belgian envelope, which was only opened in 1960 when it was believed that the contents would be more understandable. In 2000, Pope John Paul II beatified Francisco and Jacinta, making them the youngest non-martyred children to be canonized by the Catholic Church. Later, in 2017, during the 100th anniversary of the Fatima apparitions, Pope Francis canonized them. The apparitions of Our Lady at Fatima happened 6 times, and during these meetings Our Lady shared 3 revelations with the children, known as the 3 secrets of Fatima. The first secret concerned a vision of hell. Lucia described how Our Lady showed them hell, where many suffering souls were in torment. Although the vision only lasted for a short time, it was a painful moment for the children. This experience deepened their faith and strengthened their resolve to fulfill the promise of the Virgin Mary. to lead the faithful to Christ and save souls from such a terrible fate. In the second secret, the Virgin Mary informed the children that World War I was going to end soon. However, she warned that a new world war would break out during the time of Pope Pius V, who led the Church from 1922 to 1939. If humanity continued to offend God and Russia was not converted, he asked that Russia be consecrated to his Immaculate Heart in 1939. As predicted, World War II began shortly thereafter. The third secret is considered the most mysterious and controversial of the three secrets. Sister Lucia was initially hesitant to reveal it, but at the request of the bishop, she wrote it down. This secret was kept sealed until the year 2000, when it was finally released to the public. The third secret of Fatima was revealed to the world in the year 2000, coinciding with the apparitions of Francisco and Jacinta Marto. Lucia wrote down the third part of this secret, which Our Lady had entrusted to her at the Cova da Iria of Fatima on July 13, 1917. She did so by order of God and the instructions of Bishop Liria, with the intervention of the Virgin Mary. After describing the first two parts of the secret, Lucia recounted a vision. To the left of the Virgin Mary and slightly above her, an angel was holding a flaming sword in his left hand. Flames from the sword, which seemed capable of destroying the world, were extinguished when exposed to a bright light coming from the right hand of the Mother of God. The angel, pointing towards the earth with his right hand, continuously shouted, "Penance! Penance! Penance!" The children were then enveloped in a giant light, which they recognized as God. They saw a scene like the reflection of people passing by in a mirror. They saw a bishop dressed in white, whom they believed to be the Pope, walking with other bishops, priests, and religious figures up a steep mountain. Let's consider 8 signs that the third prophecy of Fatima has begun to take place in America. The first sign is a moral and spiritual crisis. Many religious commentators argue that Christian values in American society are weakening. With the rise of secularization and growing polarization around ethical and moral issues such as abortion, gay marriage, and other social matters, these debates have caused divisions within many religious communities in the United States, including the Catholic Church. Many see this as a spiritual crisis. Second sign: scandals in the Catholic Church. The Catholic Church in the United States has faced scandals related to sexual abuse over the past several decades. These incidents have eroded the faith of many believers and created a crisis of leadership and trust in the Church. Some interpret this as part of a broader societal crisis mentioned in the third secret of Fatima. Third sign: geopolitical and economic tensions. In recent years, the United States has faced increasing political polarization, social instability, and economic concerns. Combined with global uncertainties such as the pandemic, climate change, and even nuclear tensions, these factors are seen by some as harbingers of catastrophic global crises, associated with prophecies like those of Fatima. Fourth sign: natural disasters and climate change. The increase in extreme weather events, such as hurricanes and severe droughts, is considered by some to be part of an apocalyptic scenario. Some theologians and prophecy interpreters link these disasters to divine warnings that humanity must change its ways. Fifth sign: religious persecution and intolerance. In the United States, there is a growing perception that Christians, particularly Catholics, face discrimination or marginalization. Debates about religious freedom and laws restricting public religious practices are seen as subtle forms of persecution. These developments reflect the predictions of suffering and persecution mentioned in interpretations of the third secret. Sixth sign: the pandemic's impact on faith. The recent pandemic profoundly impacted religious organizations in the United States. Churches were closed, religious services interrupted, and many believers faced a crisis of faith due to the loss of loved ones and isolation. This situation is seen by some as a manifestation of the Great Tribulation that the Fatima prophecy warned about, with long-term effects on the spiritual and social fabric. Seventh sign: crisis and food shortages. Growing concerns about food security and shortages in the United States, especially in the wake of the pandemic, have led some to believe that severe economic crises are looming. These challenges are interpreted by some as part of the catastrophic events often speculated to relate to the third secret of Fatima. Eighth sign: division within the Catholic Church. In addition to sexual abuse scandals, the Catholic Church is also experiencing debates over issues such as the role of women in the Church, priestly celibacy, and the acceptance of the LGBTQ+ community. These debates are causing divisions between conservatives and progressives within the Church. Some see this as an internal crisis that reflects the warnings in the third secret about division and suffering within the Church. To live truthfully and love God deeply, as the three shepherd children did, is to experience divine love for humanity. They were chosen to become prophets of this love, a gift that Our Lady of Fatima wishes to bring to the world. Our Lady of Fatima solemnly wishes for all believers to pray daily for the salvation of sinners and world peace. Her message is an invitation to intensify our practice of prayer, to pray more often and more sincerely. Many people only turn to prayer when they encounter difficulties, but perhaps now is the time to pick up the rosary beads we have put away since confirmation. For those devoted to the rosary, the message of Fatima encourages renewal and deepening of a prayerful life. This can be achieved through more focused prayer practices or spending more time in prayer with God and the Virgin Mary. However, it's important to remember that this prophecy is not scripture. Believe in God and persevere in doing good. If this message has touched your heart or sparked deeper reflection, we warmly invite you to share your thoughts in the comments below and subscribe Jesus Good News channel to join us on this journey of faith and discovery. While we don't claim certainty, the parallels we've uncovered raise profound questions about America's path and the fate of the world in these uncertain times. Now let's go deeper into the apparitions of Our Lady of Fatima with the children, especially the sixth and final apparition when the final secrets were revealed. In the first apparition of Our Lady at Fatima on May 13, 1917, Our Lady instructed the three children to return on the same day every month for 6 consecutive months. She warned them that they would face many hardships but promised that they would eventually reach heaven. She also asked them to pray the rosary every day to help bring peace to the world. During the second apparition on June 13, 1917, Our Lady asked the children to add the Fatima prayer at the end of each rosary. They expressed their wishes to go to heaven, and the Virgin Mary told them that she would soon take Jacinta and Francisco, while Lucia would remain on earth longer. In the third apparition on July 13, 1917, Our Lady gave the children a terrifying vision of hell and declared that God desired intense devotion to the Immaculate Heart of Mary to save souls from this terrible fate. On this occasion, she also prophesied the outbreak of World War II and the persecution of Christians in Russia, warning that without prayer and the consecration of Russia to her Immaculate Heart, this nation would spread errors throughout the world, provoking wars and persecution of the Church. During the fourth apparition on August 19, 1917, the local governor placed the children under house arrest to prevent them from seeing the Virgin Mary. However, 6 days after that incident, the Virgin Mary appeared to the children in a field, calling them to pray fervently and make sacrifices for sinners. She explained that many souls were condemned to hell because no one prayed for them. On the fifth apparition, Thursday, September 13, 1917, a large crowd witnessed the phenomenon of white rose petals falling from the sky, which disappeared before reaching the ground. Lucia took this opportunity to ask the Virgin Mary to heal the sick. Our Lady replied that some would be healed, but others would not, because God did not grant faith to all of them. The sixth and most memorable apparition of Our Lady of Fatima took place on October 13, 1917. On this day, between 70,000 and 100,000 people witnessed the famous solar miracle, which was visible from up to 10 miles away. Even skeptical journalists who came to cover the event were stunned by the phenomenon. Our Lady, who called herself the Lady of the Rosary, urged people to change their lives, seek forgiveness for sins, and stop offending God, emphasizing that he was deeply offended. The three children, Lucia, Francisco, and Jacinta, were chosen for this extraordinary encounter with Our Lady, despite the presence of many adults at the time. Our Lady's choice of the three little shepherds was no coincidence. The lives of Lucia, Francisco, and Jacinta demonstrate a clear example of the grace and mercy of God. Through the humble lives of these children, a paradoxical power, seen throughout the history of salvation, was revealed. The profound contrast between the arrogance of the powerful with their strategies and ambitions, and the simplicity of the humble people chosen by God to transform the world. The shepherd children of Fatima witnessed God's mercy, and through their humble lives, spread the message they were taught. These children lived modestly, with no access to formal education. They could not read or write, and had only limited knowledge of the world outside the Ngo Mountains, which were safeguarded by their religious upbringing. Their background was basic, reflecting the isolated environment in which they lived. Lucia's mother taught her daughter and nephews about Catholic doctrine. Being older, Lucia passed on the Bible stories and prayers she learned from her mother to her two cousins. Although their religious education was simple, their parents lived lives of deep faith. They attended Mass on Sundays, prayed together as a family, practiced honesty, respected others, and showed charity to those less fortunate. Lucia, in particular, showed great sensitivity to the love of God. From a very young age, she had a deep desire to unite herself in the love of God, which guided her every step throughout her life. Francisco, with a contemplative nature, greatly valued inner silence and maintained a deep connection with nature. He felt the presence of the Creator in every detail of the world around him and admired both sunrises and sunsets, which he saw as symbols of God's beauty. Jacinta, on the other hand, was especially attracted to the moon, which she called the mother's candle, because its gentle light did not hurt her eyes. Jacinta had a special affection for her sister Lucia, always following her closely. She also loved the sheep in their care, calling them by name and holding them close to her heart as a way of imitating God's care for his children. The three children lived lives filled with joy and innocence, loving God sincerely without worrying about anything else. On a beautiful spring day in 1916, they had a unique experience after saying a simple prayer. The three friends witnessed a miracle. A light brighter than snow appeared from the trees, resembling a young man made of crystal shining in the sunlight. At that time, they did not realize they were standing in front of a divine mission. This peacemaker was sent by God to begin a new phase in their lives, one filled with prayer and spiritual connection. It was a complete surprise, and the children were deeply moved by the presence of that bright light. In the same year, 1916, during spring, the angel of peace visited the three children 3 times. Each encounter with the angel touched their hearts, giving them a clear vision of God's love and his desire to be loved. The angel spoke of a divine heart that listens to the humble and has a benevolent plan for them. He encouraged them to worship God wholeheartedly and participate in sacrifices to help reconcile people with the Supreme Being. During one of these visits, the angel even shared with them the body and blood of Christ, the most precious gift, and asked them to sacrifice for the ungrateful and those who did not live in constant gratitude to God. From that moment, the children completely dedicated their lives to worshiping God, with a strong and courageous desire to make their lives a gift to the Creator and to help others. This desire became even stronger on May 13, 1917, when Our Lady, more radiant than the sun, appeared to them. She visited them for 6 consecutive months, always on the 13th of each month. Our Lady reminded the 3 friends to be humble representatives of God's love in a world full of suffering. She asked if they were willing to dedicate themselves to God and endure the sufferings He would allow as a way to atone for sins and help convert sinners. The visions Our Lady shared made the children realize that God's love is deeply connected to human history and that sin is often manifested through indifference to divine love. Yet God, full of mercy, always seeks humanity, even in the face of great challenges. Those who accept divine love are invited to cooperate with God's mission through prayer and good works to care for humanity. If you enjoyed this content and want to see more, subscribe to the channel. Click on the video that appears on the screen to explore and uncover all the secrets the future may reveal.